Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Thread. On this episode, we're going to be discussing a lot of what has been happening lately. Spy balloon, the earthquake in Turkey, Kyrie Irving out of Brooklyn, and many more stories. So thank you for listening to the Daily Thread.
It's good to be back.
Yes, good to be back. Brand new week. And let's get right to it. Spy balloon. The spy balloon had entered U.S. airspace from China, and you had this massive... They said it's like 17,000 feet wide. It was not like when you hear about a balloon, it's not like the
balloons your kids play with.
It's not a birthday balloon.
No, I mean it looks like a balloon. It's I don't know. It stays afloat by being filled with air, obviously, but has a lot of advanced technological equipment attached to it. I just read this morning that it left China on January 21st.
And it took
And it entered the United States airspace last week one day.
That's not so long. You think
it goes very slow. You know, it's like the Goodyear blimp that floats over the Super Bowl. That's about the familiarity that people have in America with balloons.
So China was very...
This is not the first time it was a balloon. There's been balloons. These spy balloons have been launched over other countries by China. And also they say there was a little bit of machlokas. They said one of the things. See, the Biden administration makes a big mistake. Okay, when they really mess up, they have two excuses really. It's Trump's fault. That's the first excuse, and then the second excuse is Trump did it too. Okay, so those are two different ways that they can excuse everything, whether it's inflation, whether it's a war, whether it's a spy balloon, whether it's gasoline prices. I think it's Trump's fault, or Trump did it also.
I feel like this is the first time in my lifetime that I've been hearing about a spy balloon, though. You're saying it's happened before.
Well, first of all, listen, there are satellites that are rotating the Earth, launched by multiple countries, that could do the same things that these balloons are doing. But this was more than just a matter of spying, according to intelligence observers. It's also like a game of chicken. China wants to see how much they can push the United States around.
Yeah.
So they're just tapping around I don't know what else is up their sleeves. They want to go into Taiwan. They want to take over Taiwan. They want to do certain things. They want to see what is the reaction of the Biden administration going to be.
Well, again, China wasn't happy that the U.S. ended up shooting down the spy balloon. They sent up one of their Air Force,
a rocket, a missile,
and
whatever.
They shot it down, and China was upset about that.
Well, from what I read, Nachi, the balloon was floating 60,000 feet above the Earth. Okay?
That's not from the ground. That's from Earth.
That's 60,000 feet in the air. You take
it's
a
like
flight
60,000 feet from
Central Avenue.
Okay,
straight up.
I thought it was higher.
60,000 feet is like twice the distance of a conventional airplane.
Okay,
and it was spotted originally by a guy flying a private plane at 47,000 feet.
You thought it was a UFO?
Last week. I don't know, maybe he was trying to say Kiddush Levana. Or
there's a lot of Kiddush Levana tweets that went out. I think A.Y. Milstein, Aim Humor, I think he gets the credit for that.
Who?
Aim Humor. I think this guy on Twitter.
Okay.
I don't know if he was the first one to it, but
the question was if you said Kiddush Levana and you really were looking at the balloon instead of Bracha Levatolo.
I think so.
You think so it is?
I think it might be. We shot down the balloon, and
now we're going to see. China claims that it was just an accident, that the balloon is a weather balloon and it just floated away accidentally.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
But the Chinese and the Biden administration have two things in common. Whatever they say is never true. So, there's a lot of commonality there.
The next story we have is obviously very, very much ongoing. This happened last night around the time where maybe you were going to sleep, but there was a massive earthquake in Turkey that was felt all around. It was felt in Syria. It was felt in Israel. I know a friend of ours, Shlomi Zions, who he lives in Houston now, but he was in Israel last night.
Really?
He was woken up by the earthquake, and he said it lasted a pretty long time. But this earthquake, I remember just seeing the numbers roll in on Twitter of the death toll going from 50, 100, 150. Right now it's at 1,600 people's lives were lost.
Last I saw was 1,900 people actually.
Really?
And they just began the rescue process of trying to find people. It's a human fiasco. It's a great human tragedy. Israel sending rescue teams to both Turkey and parts of Syria. I don't know if they're going to Syria actually, but they're definitely going to Turkey.
Does this have the, you know what? Does this have the? Hopefully not. But the last massive earthquake that we can remember is in 2010 in Haiti. That was a devastating, massive earthquake. Do you know how many people died then in Haiti?
I don't know. But
take a guess.
You're gonna tell me now? 20,000.
220,000 people.
Really?
220,000 people.
2010.
On January 12th, 2010, a 7.0 magnitude. Listen, what magnitude was this earthquake in?
7.8.
This is 7.8?
Yeah.
So I guess Haiti just had less of a foundation. 7.0.
7.0.
I guess they're just
7.8 is a major earthquake. And what can I tell you? The construction is very makeshift, very shoddy. Buildings are built out of rubber bands.
The place got leveled.
It's shoddy construction. You know. And same thing in Haiti. People live in huts and in buildings made out of wood, knocked together with a hammer and a nail. Haiti is a very extremely poor country. I don't know what area of Turkey this hit, but Turkey is a more advanced type of society than Haiti.
Well, of course, Israel is sending aid to Turkey. They're sending troops to assist in the rescue mission. They're sending food because that's what we do.
You can be sure Magen David Adom is going to be there. United Hatzalah is going to be there. They're going to be sending up tents to treat the injured. Don't forget that the injuries are massive.
Yeah. These natural disasters are always
disasters.
They're
disastrous.
They're disastrous. It's crazy. It's really crazy to see something like this happen. I don't know what the words Allahu Akbar mean, but every single video.
Al-Akbar, what's it?
Al-Akbar.
Al-Akbar. It means God is great.
So really, when the Muslims say that, it's sort of like us saying thank you, Hashem.
Havdel Elfei Adalos. It's like saying, like we say at the end of the Yom Kippur service, Hashem Hu Elokim.
Okay, but we don't say that while. I guess there's an Indian for Muslims to say that while someone's dying.
That's a natural reaction. I think they have.
Really?
People, when Jews in a tough spot, you'll say Shema Yisrael.
Okay. I was just noticing that. So
religions have their mantras and the things that give a person a certain amount of peace, solace, and expression of faith. And these are important things for people. Yeah.
And obviously the tweets are nonstop. This is obviously trending now on Twitter. About this earthquake. There's just building after building after building is collapsing. And we're talking about even like the city, like in the center of Turkey, buildings are just falling down. People are just not sure what to do.
Well, the question is really.
By the way, it's worth noting that not one earthquake hit, but three. A third earthquake at 4 hours ago. A third earthquake 4.5 hours ago. A 7.5 on the Richter scale.
Right.
Three earthquakes.
You have to really speak to scientists that can explain to you what shifts. Something shifts in the earth.
I know. And then there was a tsunami warning in one of these countries.
Because if the earth, there's an earthquake in the water and you have
that's a tsunami.
Billions of gallons of water in an ocean, and it shifts in such a strong way. Yeah, it pushes the water with a tremendous force,
and that could be problematic. That could be really problematic.
That could be problematic.
So we wish everyone the safety. Israeli troops, of course, that are going to help and assist, and everyone on the ground in Turkey. Everyone should be well and find comfort. Hopefully, the death toll doesn't rise too much.
It's a great opportunity for chesed. This is one of the ways in which you could see that really people should be around to help one another. People are different countries, different cultures, different languages. But when you get into a situation like this, a mess like this, trouble like this, we're really all people at the end of the day. God's good, and God's good earth.
This is for our friends on social media, our TikTok friends and our Instagram friends. And every single Jewish post that ends up being posted on our social media, there's all free Palestine, the Jews don't belong there, free Palestine. Well, guess who's in Turkey right now helping the Muslims? Guess who's in Turkey right now helping more people find housing and shelter and have food and maybe even saving lives? The Israelis. It's the people who you want annihilated. It's the people that you don't think deserve their own land.
Don't even give them too much time. It's going to happen again. the thing will dissolve into the future, into the past, into history, and the haters and the critics and the crazies are gonna resurface.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll lay low for a half a day today.
Maybe, hopefully. Anyways, an alarming stat was brought to my attention by our producer over here. He says the average American earning $100,000 is living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay, so the average American, you say
that average American that's earning $100,000 is living paycheck to paycheck. Do you have a link?
It's a family person, family of four. I mean, let's say it's a family of four. If you're making $100,000 a year, you're definitely paying about $25,000 in taxing.
Okay, so you got $75K.
So you have $75,000 expendable income, and food prices have risen crazy.
So inflation probably is a driving force in why they're living paycheck to paycheck.
I mean, gasoline prices are sky
high. Let me ask you a question. What amount does that apply in the from world? Someone making $250 living paycheck to paycheck?
I don't know. You have to ask people on tuition committees.
They know.
In yeshivas.
Yeah.
Ask them. They look at people's tax returns sometimes. Look at people's income, and you have. I've heard over the years. I don't know about this year, but I've heard where people come to a tuition committee and they're earning $300,000 a year and need a break. And they need a break on tuition. Also, it depends how many kids you have and how high your tuition is. But there's no question about it that in our world, tuition is it's probably the greatest expense.
Yeah, well, here in this article, it says the New York Post recently revealed that the results of a recent survey that showed 50% of Americans that earn over $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. The data showed more than half American households earning six figures are suffering greatly from high inflation. More alarming, 64% of U.S. consumers have said that they are living on razor-thin budgets each month.
About 40 years ago, when I got my, first legitimate job, I would say full-time job where I had to work full-time.
40 years ago, you were 52?
No, I was like 10. And I remember I got my first paycheck.
Yeah.
And I was like in shock. I was calculating how much I'm making. You know? I guess it was 1980.
You're never surprised about how much it is. You're only surprised how little.
I remember I calculated in my head how much I'm getting, and I guess I forgot about taxes,
Oh my gosh.
Forgot about withholding taxes. And I signed a contract. I was working for a company, and I was in my office, and I looked at the paycheck. I was very excited about it and said to myself, how am I going to make it on this?
Right?
What am I going to do? Where's the rest of the money?
Well, where is it?
What?
Where is the rest of the money?
I don't know. They'll tell you it goes to, today it goes to support the illegal immigrants. And other people that really don't deserve it. But in those days, I guess it went to fundamental things like fire department,
like funding the war. I don't know.
The streets, making sure the potholes are not too deep. Just
I think there's definitely that number does not apply to different families. If you're $100,000 making $100,000 and you have four kids in a from household, there's no way $100K is pulling it.
You should do a program on math in the frum community with some investment advisors and
tuition committee members
and Jewish community and a couple of people that are breadwinners in their families, men and women, and the average people.
Yeah.
And how they get by, how they calculate getting by.
To be honest, to me the math doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Like it really doesn't.
That would be a great program that people would be listening to every word.
If you guys are interested in seeing that, send us an email at thedailythread@meaningfunded.org. Maybe we'll produce that. But I think that the math does not add up. It's really astonishing.
What does that mean? The math doesn't add up. What doesn't add up?
It doesn't add up that people are able to live unless people are being bailed out, by family, friends, organizations. Like you just see a tremendous amount of expenses and spending, and there's no way that every from household is pulling in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Like that's a tremendous amount of money, and unfortunately, that's almost like not a tremendous amount of money given the expenses that these families have. We're talking about tuition alone will cost upwards of $60,000, and you have to feed the whole family, and you have to put a heat in the house and roof over their heads, and then Yom Tovim, suits, shoes, weddings.
That's right.
It doesn't. The math doesn't add up.
Well, it certainly makes it very challenging and difficult.
Yeah, maybe we'll discuss that. Maybe we'll have a whole
put together a panel.
I think we should have a round table. I think we should have a produced round table, of couples and people who can speak to this topic all at once.
You don't want couples. You're going to start arguing about
you spent what
money.
Yeah.
You didn't count. You didn't mention shaitos. You didn't mention clothing for yontif for women and suits and so on and so forth. Cars,
Super Bowl parties. Now you're already going off someplace else. But the next story we have is an interesting one. Someone remarked to me yesterday that now they can finally go to a Brooklyn Nets game because Kyrie Irving is no longer on the Brooklyn Nets. He was traded. And the story that JTA has is that Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks, whose Jewish owner, Mark Cuban, spoke out on the anti-Semitism scandal. So we all know that yesterday, or not we all know, but maybe if you don't know, yesterday, a few days ago actually, Kyrie Irving requested a trade. Why? I don't know. I think that he was trying to stick it to the organization
he asked for a 4-year contract extension at $200 million.
Yeah, he's not worth that.
And they said to him, you caused more trouble than anything else.
Yeah.
He was out for most of the season a couple of years ago because he didn't want to get vaccinated. I don't know if all the players got vaccinated. I'm not sure what the
all the other ones did. That's how they played, yeah.
And then he had this business where he hitched his wagon to Kanye West, which is also was problematic. Anti-Semitic sentiments that he expressed and other things of that nature. But during the night, last night during the night, I had the radio on, and I heard a few times that Kyrie Irving is leaving New York because of its very significant Jewish population.
What? You heard that?
Yeah. I heard it this morning also.
Well, he's in for a rude awakening in Dallas because
I don't know what's going
the
on
Dallas from community is thriving.
No, but there's
I don't buy that.
Not as many Jews in Texas as there are in New York.
I don't buy that. Where'd you hear that?
I heard on the radio. I heard on WABC this morning.
Are you serious? Who said that?
On the Sid Rosenberg show on WABC.
That he's leaving because of the...
the news was that they had to get him out of New York because he doesn't belong in New York has such a large Jewish population.
So we're accepting the fact. We're accepting the fact that he hates Jews.
Are you saying that the NBA makes their decisions on how to move players around based on their feelings and their sentiments about Jews, whether they love Jews or they dislike Jews?
I don't know.
I mean,
I can tell you this: the owner of the team, Joe Tsai, is that how you pronounce his name?
Of the Nets?
Tsai, yeah, the owner of the Nets. It came out last night via many reports that Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers. That was his number one destination.
He
wanted to be there in LA.
He wants to be with LeBron.
And Joe Tsai's number one objective was to send him not where he wanted to go. Okay. He did not want to send him to LA. So they sent him to Dallas. Anyways.
And they got a player that they had already.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. They're getting him back. It's a good deal. The Brooklyn Nets, if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, and if you don't like sports, you just skip this part. But if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, this was an amazing, amazing deal.
Got draft choices up until 2029.
2029, yeah. It's an amazing deal, but I wonder how Cubans, I didn't know this, Cubans whose paternal grandparents had their last name changed from Chebensky after coming from Russia.
To Cuban?
To Cuban.
All right.
He said that he did not think that Irving had a bad heart in the wake of the scandal. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're playing in Dallas, you're out of the limelight. I know Dallas is a big city, has a thriving Jewish population, but it's not like Brooklyn, okay? It's not like New York City. It's not like guys sitting on the courtside seats at the Barclay Stadium with shirts, protest. I don't know what the shirt said. I don't remember anymore. Led by Ari Youngrice and his group, protesting his.
I want to show this. I want to show this meme on the screen.
Jabensky?
No, this is Kyrie Irving when he finds out that Mark Cuban is Jewish and not Cuban. Yeah, Mark. Yeah, good luck, Dallas.
Anyway, the question is this: how much do you think? And how much, besides the money that he was asking for?
Yeah.
How much do you think they took into consideration the fact that so many Jewish people come to the Barclays Stadium.
I don't think it's. I personally don't think
not
it's
at all.
I think it's zero consideration.
I mean, I've been to Barclay a few times, and you can see yarmulkes all over.
Anytime the camera pans to the crowd, you see yarmulkes. I don't think there's any consideration when it comes to the team. Like, oh, he doesn't like Jews, let's get him out of Brooklyn. I don't think so. And that's our Kyrie Irving bit for today. But see you later, Kyrie. Enjoy Dallas. You're not in the main. You don't belong. He doesn't belong in the mainstream media.
We're gonna forget about.
He doesn't belong in New York.
We're gonna forget about it by the end of the week.
Nissan, could you bring us the Tu B'Shvat platter? We have a Tu B'Shvat platter over here, which, by the way, smells really.
Well, first of all, it has great stuff on there. First of all, Tu B'Shvat is.
Here, bring it around over here. I'll show it on the camera.
Yeah, how around, you get on the camera. You can bend the camera. If you're gonna hold it sideways, it's gonna fall out.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that smells. Okay,
that's Buxa.
This is the Tu B'Shvat platter. But you're going to try some of this? You're going to eat this?
Provided to us by Chaya Frischman.
We lost something.
All right, just put it down. Can you move? Are you allowed to move here? The cameras move with you?
Oh, my God.
That's apricots, now.
I don't like apricots.
Make a bar Priya 8.
Abba?
Make a bracha on the trees.
I'm not eating this.
You're not eating any of it? Put it down over here.
I'm not eating any of it.
Put it down.
You're going to eat it?
I'm going to eat some of it. I'm going to make a bracha.
Oh, man. I don't like anything on this thing. Amen.
Really good.
1 to 10.
The only thing I didn't like when I was a kid growing up was the Buxa. I don't like the way it sounds. I don't like the way it smells. I don't like the way it tastes. It's called St. John's bread.
Why?
I don't know. You got to look it up on your phone.
Buxer?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a Jewish name. Buxer.
Probably Russian or something. But you got.
Why does that
have figs here?
Why does it have to be dried fruit? Why can't it just be like?
You got figs. It's Rosh Hashanah of the trees.
But this is too early to be eating this. Honestly,
it's Rosh Hashanah of the trees, and trees play a very prominent role, believe it or not, in Jewish life. Yeah, from when Adam and Chava were created, in in Gan Eden, it was the tree of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Which got them into a lot of trouble. Okay, there's the tree of life. When Hashem introduced himself to Moshe Rabbeinu for the first time, was at a burning bush. It says in Sefer Dvarim, Ha'adam eitz hasada, man is a tree of the field. Man, you and me, people, are like the tree of the field. Now, there's 4 levels of existence. There's a person, which was a medaber. He's distinguished by the fact that he's able to speak. Then there's animal life. Then there's plant life, including trees. And then there's like rocks and dirt, which are inanimate objects. They just like don't move. They have no life in them, really. So you have 4 levels of existence, so to speak. But the Torah says, Adam eitz hasada, that man is like a tree of the field. So man is more. If you want to compare man to one of the other categories, wouldn't you compare man more like to an animal?
Right, something that has a heartbeat, and moves.
Has a heart. He has, he has legs. He moves around. He breathes. He eats. Why Adam eitz hasada? Why is a man like a tree of the field?
Yeah.
The simple answer is that because a tree of the field can't live unless it's connected to its roots. The same thing with a Jew. Same thing with a man. We have to be connected to our roots, to Hashem Yisbarach, to have a life force in us and to exist. So you stick up over that level of the behemoths, and you go compare the existence of man to that of a tree in the field.
Enjoy the rest of your fig.
Yeah, fig's very good.
The last story we have for today is the passing of my great uncle, of your uncle, Rabbi Stroll Gordon, Alva Shalom, who passed away yesterday. At the age of
92
years old.
Been, 93 next week.
He was the youngest of your father's siblings.
He was my father's youngest brother.
He was a big member of the Chabad community.
Yes, he spent many years in Worcester, Massachusetts, and prior to that, he lived in Pittsburgh. He was a Baal Korah by the Frierdiker Rebbe in his home and in his office. And he was a lot of fun. He was a great man. He was a lot of fun. He worked for many years in the yeshiva in Morristown, New Jersey, the Rabbinical College of America. And he had a great sense of humor. And he was such an important part of my childhood. He was always there. We called him Uncle Izzy. I don't know. I guess my father gave him the name Uncle Izzy. But I always thought he was Izzy. I only found out much later in my life that people called him Yisrael.
For real.
You know? But to us, he was always Uncle Izzy, and he was always jovial and always... And you know what the thing about him after my father passed away 33 years ago, which is a long time ago, no, he always called me on my birthday, you know? And he was known for remembering people's birthdays, all his, not just his children and grandchildren, but all of the extended family. He just knew everybody's birthday. And he would call me, and we would talk, and so he kind of like stepped in my father's place for a while. And
end of an era. It's the end of an era.
It's the end of an era in a way. You know, he was born in Dukshitz in Belarus.
Really? Wow.
And came here, I think he was 2 years old or 3 years old when he came. So he was born in 1930, and they came here in 1934. So he was 4 years old when he came here. And I see him in front of me. I can picture him, and he was an extraordinary person, and he should have a great Lichtige Gan Eden.
Should be a Melech Yosher. He's reunited with the rest of his family. He should definitely play a role in us all being reunited together and with the coming of Mashiach.
Amen.
Hair of Yemenu. Amen. That is our episode for today, the Daily Thread on this beautiful Monday, February 6th. We thank you for joining us on Tu B'Shvat, and stay tuned for another episode tomorrow.